I don't think YouTube's gonna like it if I open a video by saying arsehole, and I'm planning to cut these into just the individual stories.
Yeah, because obviously that's how you get the algorithm, is you have the individual stories and then people can swipe through.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess
I just love that we're being so open about the fact that this is like bait content.
Yeah, and look at it. Look, if you're watching this on YouTube, fucking got you.
That's how every single one of them starts.
Yeah, I don't want to say arsehole,
but I'll say fucking got you.
Yeah, I'll just say bumhole.
Okay.
Right. Am I the bumhole for...
It's not gonna work.
I'll make it work. Am I a bumhole for pretending to get fired when customers get a temper with me?
Oh, interesting.
And before I read this one, I do want to say we're going through the top rated posts of all time and just kind of picking ones that sound interesting.
Yeah.
So this one has 63,000 upvotes.
Jeez, I'm immediately gonna say that I do have a bias that I must declare, which is that I worked in a customer-facing job, so it makes me just initially on the side of the employee.
Yeah, I think it's probably fine. I am a high schooler with a weekend job at a coffee shop. Mm-hmm. My co-workers who work weekends are James, the owner's son. He goes to my school. He's a shift manager, but it's not a real formal thing. He's a friendly guy.
I love James already. James is the GOAT.
We stan James. Danielle, a college student who sometimes works weekends too. Failing to see how this is relevant to the story.
Look, sometimes people like to just be like, this is my diary. Reddit is my diary entry.
Also, you'd be surprised to know those are the only two people he lists. Could have just said their names. It's fine. It's like I'm there. So, sometimes customers will come in and just be angry about such little stuff.
I can attest to that.
Like literally blowing up about nothing. I don't know if they're in a bad mood already and looking for someone to take it out on or what, but it's a lot. Like, like how sad do you have to be a grown-ass man taking your anger out on high school and college kids?
There is nothing more devastating than someone referring to you as a grown-ass man. Like, you know you've done something stupid when someone's like, you're a grown-ass man.
So one day I was at work and some guy was having a temper about how we don't make the coffee hot enough, which I couldn't do a thing about. Because I gave it to him right out of the machine.
I have specific... Okay, we can just finish the story and then I'll talk.
So James came in. Oh, it's James from earlier. Remember James? James came in and was like, "Sir, is there a problem here?" And the guy started ranting at him too. So he was just like, "OP, this is unacceptable. You're fired." I started acting real sad. Like, "No, please don't fire me. My family needs the money. I need this job, please." And he played up being a hard ass, telling me to take off my apron and leave. The angry guy started to backtrack like, "It isn't that big of a problem. You don't need to fire her over it. I didn't mean it." And James was like, "No, we pride ourselves on the best customer service." Of course, after all this drama, I still had my job. We were just acting, and we've done it a couple of times. Whenever a customer will lose their temper at Danielle or I, James will storm in and fire us. And almost every time, the person who would come in angry will apologize and say that they didn't mean it. It's kind of satisfying, making people realize their actions might actually have consequences. Anyway, I was telling my friends from school about this, and a few of them thought it was a mean prank, get better friends, to let someone go away thinking they'd gotten someone who desperately needed the money fired. Am I the asshole for this joke?
Okay, so initially, what I'm going to say is I 100% relate to this person. I worked in a situation where we had a cafe, and it wasn't like, oh, you know, the coffee is made, you know, special. It was literally a machine. You'd click latte or cappuccino, and the machine would do it. So, like, in terms of how hot it was just going to come out as hot as it was going to be. It was the machine. Yeah. Now, you could, I guess, argue, like, well, I'm going to complain so that the business knows they should get a better machine or a more, you know... But, you know, it's not the fucking employee's fault.
You can complain without having to go at someone. You know?
That is true. That is absolutely true.
You just make a fake Yelp account.
Or you could just be like, hey, could you just let the manager know that, like, I'd really like it if there was an option to have hotter coffee, you know? Yeah. I'm assuming that it wasn't as kind and respectful as that.
Well, you described it as having a temper, which...
yeah.
I do like that they use that phrase a lot during the story.
I do... Here's the thing with Am I the Arsehole a lot of times, where I'm like, is it the right thing to do? No. I don't think it's the right thing to do. I think it is a bit deceptive. Are you an arsehole for doing it? Also, probably not, because it is funny, and ultimately that person's life isn't really changed in any way. They just maybe grew a heart, you know? Like, I don't think it's how you actually change people's minds, but it is funny.
So, I don't think this person's the arsehole at all. I do think they're playing a dangerous game. Because so far, all the customers have backpedaled and been like, I'm so sorry. You just have to get the one like real arsehole. Like, no, yeah, fire her.
Yeah.
Fire her now. And then comes back in the next day, sees that you're still working there. And then you just have an issue with that customer every single time they come in. Which maybe is still worth it, or maybe you just have to ban that person.
It also depends on how high up James is. Because if James is like the owner or whatever, then you can do this ad infinitum and just keep being like, well, James brought me back. But if there's a guy above James and they find out, you're kind of fucked.
So, I'm so annoyed that I gave this writer shit for giving the stage casting directions at the start. But because of them, I am able to look back.
Oh, it's like the front of a fantasy book where it's all the names and families.
Yeah. James is the owner's son.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all he has to do is convince his dad. And then all three of you, or four of you, because your friend is doing it as well. I do like, though, the idea that, like, this builds and builds, and suddenly it's like, there's a manager in this shop down the road who just doesn't have any patience for anything.
Nissan. He hasn't got a Nissan, and I wonder how he could get one. But, you were saying, like, that you don't want the James to get this reputation that he will fire anyone at the drop of a hat.
It is kind of funny though, because if the two of you were the only ones involved, but you guys are constantly getting fired, there's gonna be a time where a customer comes in and, like, you've been fired already.
Yeah. You get fired a second time with the same customer. What's chat saying? What a power play, the best kind. Bro. Most Epic Gamer says, absolutely the customer was the arsehole and needs to learn there are consequences for ripping into an employee. I agree. Lottie says, I've been grabbed by customers, had my arse slapped, yelled at, and had stuff thrown at me.
Jesus Christ.
Customers suck. Yeah, speaking as a customer, customers suck.
Sorry, I was distracted because the speed at which you said that made it sound like you were the customer from Lady Lottie's story.
Yeah, I can confirm I was having a bad day.
Oh, Jesus.
Alright, that one was on me, because I clicked on the Twitch window again.
He can't stop looking at how many viewers he's got.
It's addicting. Alright, I don't know why, it's instinct. Right, not the arsehole. Old women are very handsy. Aiden brings up a decent point that maybe I should have clarified from the start. You must also consider if these stories are real. So, generally, when I read these stories, when I'm just reading them for fun or listening to other people read them, I think about whether or not I need to buy a Roomba. And... Fucking hell. So, my attitude...
For those who didn't realize what just happened, he keeps clicking off the screen and I lose control of the thing. No, I agree with you. Like, you kind of have to have fun, you have to treat these as, okay, they might not be real, but... imagine someone did this, what would your judgment be? That, however, I will say there is a limit to that. Sometimes the story is so bizarre and bonkers that you kind of have to call out the fact that it simply must be fake.
It's just my rule is, like, I don't know if this happened to this person. Do I believe this could happen? Yeah, I believe it could happen. Yeah. So I'm alright suspending my disbelief to assume it did happen to the person in the story. But there absolutely are some stories where it's like, this didn't happen to anyone. This could never happen.